I'm David Mazzei with Mazzei Formula. I'm here at Morgan Performance Fabrication in Birmingham, Alabama. And we're going to go check out the 5-rotor intake manifold construction on Mazzei Formula. So you can see the intake manifold's been mocked up on the 5-rotor here. We've got the 5 runners going into the plenum. Walker Morgan did this earlier. So what we have here is the mocked up integrated intake manifold, water-to-air intake manifold for the 5-rotor engine. And this is based closely on the design of the last car with a few additional changes. So the idea here is that the air that's coming out of this turbocharger, this is a Garrett G57, it's a 106 millimeter turbo. The air that comes out of the turbo then flows through these intercooler cores. And that air is being cooled down by water, which is running into and out of these 16 AN fittings. So that charge air, which is being compressed under boost, is cooled down by these cores. And then it comes through this specially designed intake end tank plate, which was made by Stan Levine and Walker, which has trumpets for each runner to help keep the air nice and even into each one of these runners. These runners have been provided by Vibrant Performance. They're 2-inch mandrel band aluminum. And we have a special length that we've determined for the runners based on the Mazda SAE papers for the optimal Helmholtz resonance between the intake and the exhaust. And we're targeting a power band of 8,500 to 9,000 RPMs. So the water that runs into this intake manifold comes from this pump right here, which is a CWA 400. CWA 400 is a Pierburg pump that is commonly used on BMWs as the main water pump for the engine itself, for the radiator system. But we're using this for this radiator, which is not for the engine, but it's for the intercooler. So basically, we push the water through this radiator, and then it runs into the intercooler core, which cools down the intercooler cores, and then it returns back to the system here. So we're going to be using 16A line, vibrant fittings and hose, and it should move a considerable amount of water. And you can see that the air comes in through these inlets right here on the side of the car. We have a NACA duct that we've molded into the chassis. Todd Buddy performed that, which is a really difficult body work, especially trying to mold that in to the fiberglass. And so the air passes through. Then on the other side, we have a radiator that's very similar, but it's being used in series with the engine radiator that's in the front. So these are in a series to cool the motor down, just so we have extra capacity for the volume of the 5-rotor engine. And you can see how this ducting works. And this was made by Todd Buddy as well. There's a piece that goes on the other side, but we've got a little bit of work to do on this side first before we button it back up. So that's pretty much the intake design, guys. And Walker's going to be installing vibrant quick disconnect clamps here. And they're going to be the new penless design, the HD vibrant clamps. And then, of course, we'll have the fuel injectors, the fuel rails, the throttle body, which is the Plasma Man throttle, same exact throttle that I used on the 4-rotor. The reason for this is because transient throttle tuning on these types of motors with peripheral ports can be considerably difficult, and so we already kind of have a general idea of the behavior and the tuning characteristics for this motor. Everything is pretty much increased by 25%. So going from a 4-rotor to a 5-rotor is a 25% change. So you just kind of move everything up 25%. That means the turbocharger itself flows 25% more exhaust flow, and also around 25% more compressor flow. And that gets us in the ballpark to where we don't have to put so many hours of tuning into the car, and we'll know what to expect. It'll be more predictable. So let me show you a little bit of the chassis and how it works, and how the doors open and close. I don't have the hinges installed yet, but we have the, I can just show you how they open. Still have quite a bit of work to do. Got to install the door actuators, the gas struts that open and close the doors, and the hinges. Got to install the glass. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back up with some more updates on the fabrication as we continue. And I want to thank Walker for all of his great work on the project and vibrant performance. Thanks a lot, guys. So I want to take a brief moment and talk about my friend Roy. He's currently hospitalized. He's unconscious right now. Him and a passenger were involved in a really bad wreck in his 4-rotor RX-7. It was not related to reckless driving. I don't want to get in details, but it was a freak accident, something that you would never expect could possibly happen. And it's really tough. There's a lot of people that are very challenged right now with this, and there's a lot of suffering. So it makes us remember how precious life is and how thankful we should be, and that we should coordinate instead of compete. And I just, so many people feel for this, and we're all here for you, Roy, and your family. And we're sending our best wishes and prayers, man. So can't wait to see you soon, brother.